But we do have conversation, a very important conversation. The 25th of June was World Vitiligo Day, and we have to have important conversations about vitiligo. Now, if in case you're wondering what vitiligo is, it's a long-term condition where pale white patches develop on the skin. It's caused by lack of melanin and can affect any area of skin, but it's common on the face, neck, hands, and legs. And in some cases, it just causes skin creasing. Vitiligo might not pose a serious threat to health, but it can result in physical complications such as eye issues, hearing problems, and sunburn.
In Nigeria, there is, of course, a record of up to 100 cases per year. Every 25th of June is a day set aside to build global awareness about vitiligo, which occurs in 1 to 2% of the population worldwide.
Now joining us this morning is Temilola Omoobajesu, a vitiligo advocate and also a person living with vitiligo. She'll be joining us to throw more light on this condition. But before we have her join us, it's very important that we mention that there are lots of people who live with vitiligo. They're normal people, they have normal lives, but unfortunately, because members of the society are not aware about what it is, they then have to deal with things like stigma and bullying. But there are people who live with vitiligo around the world making so much mark, in the modeling space. We have a lot of them that have made their marks, but it's important to mention that it's not always been easy for them. For some, they've had to deal with bullying and stigmatization, but it's really interesting to find out the journey with Temilola.
I've always seen it as God's special tattoo.
I think it's so cute.
It's so beautiful.
All right, we're joined this morning by Temilola Omoobajesu. Good morning, Temilola. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. Okay, we do not. We are trying to connect with Temilola, of course, but like Osalgo says, he said that he considers it God's special tattoo.
Yeah, that's the way I've always seen it. Everyone's skin is normal, but yours just has this little design here and there. The same thing with freckles. Every now and then people say,
I think freckles are so cute.
They're so cute. When people complain about having freckles and say, my skin is not.
How do you?
But I'm looking at it and it's like it makes you stand out from every other person. This is your own special touch, that God gave you, and it really cannot be seen as anything more, less than beautiful. Something with vitiligo, to me, in my opinion. It's honestly the way that I see it.
I think it's easier said. When you stand on the outside, it's easier for you to see it. I think it's beautiful, but a lot of the time, people who have to, live their lives with this reality, then have to deal with the snide remarks from people and the many questions.
From ignorant people.
Yeah, ignorant people. It's the same thing with, for example, overcrowded teeth or dimples. They'll tell you that dimples are actually a facial deformity. But people are like, I like that kind of facial deformity. Yeah. There's also people who have to live with albinism, especially those who have slightly colored hair, the ones that are sort of tilting towards red heads.
Yeah.
I think they are so stunning. And if I could have like red hair, I'd
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I think it's so cute. I mean, we wouldn't be done with this conversation, and there's still so much more to explore. But now let's have our conversation about vitiligo. The theme this year is learning to live with vitiligo. Joining us is Temilola Omoobajesu, a vitiligo advocate and also a person living with vitiligo. She joins us to throw more light on this. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Ellie. Thanks for having me.
All right, so talk to us about, the first time you realized that you had vitiligo. When was it? How long have you lived with vitiligo?
Okay, the first time I realized was 2000. I remember, yeah. So I think that was just it. And living with vitiligo has not been easy at all. Like, okay, let me say from 2014, I think I came out of my shell. I decided to be me and enjoy my life and all that. So that's just.
So maybe you should take us to, the moment you found out. What prompted you to find out? And because I'm sensing that you weren't born with vitiligo.
No,
what led you to?
Nobody's born with vitiligo.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I said no one is born with vitiligo.
All right. So talk to us about the journey before finding out that you had vitiligo and how you reacted when you found out.
Okay, basically back then I was in school. Then when I realized the spot on my leg, then when I got home, I showed my dad about it. Like, Dad, look at this. Popsi said, okay, maybe you injured yourself or what not. Then as time goes on, the things started spreading up. And what made me really pay attention to it was the fact that it itches. a lot. It itches. So anytime it itches like that, sometimes I have to take a broom or something to just scratch it. So I started going to different doctors, and people started calling it all sorts of names and all that. So it wasn't easy, to be very honest. It wasn't easy living with it.
Okay, so over time, since you eventually got to accept it and understand what exactly it was, how have the
Yeah.
stages progressed? Did you also deal with any stigma, concerning it?
Of course, I did throughout my secondary school, university days. I had to do it a lot. I was studying law before now. I had to switch because I couldn't wear the uniform. I usually wear this very long skirt with canvas just to cover up and all that time. People call me names, trust me, all sort of names. Is it Carl? Is it Miriam Akat? Like all sort of names like that. So I just had to like drop it. Then I had to go into social work where I could be comfortable with whatever I'm wearing.
All right. We're
And
really
so
sorry
far,
that
so good.
that you've
So
had to
far,
go
so
through
good.
this, but now we're glad
Yeah.
that you've come to a place where you've accepted yourself. Let's talk about, treatment process. Are there any treatments or is there any known cure for vitiligo?
There is no cure. There is no cure for vitiligo. We've tried everything. But at some point, I met this doctor that produces his own medication, but the man passed on. So since then, mine stopped spreading while I was taking the medication. But when the man passed on and I stopped medication, of recent, about 2 years ago, I started having some coming back right here and all that. I have them coming out again. But right now, I don't even care anymore. I'm loving it. And I love the attention it's bringing on. So it's fun for me now. I wish I knew this earlier on. Like, it would have been way more easier and better for me.
So, I mean, I was saying, just before we had you join us, that I've always seen it as God's special design, and, a way that God has his own sprinkle of, extra beauty on a person. And it's been shocking,
Exactly.
that people that people see that and cannot see the beauty in it. So I want you to, say something, in the last couple of years, since you finally got to accept it. What have the conversations been like, when you meet other people who have vitiligo, and of course, the maybe misconceptions that you've heard about it?
Basically, meeting other people with vitiligo, we just tend to like just laugh about it, we talk about our experiences and all that, nothing major. But another thing is meeting other people that are still not yet comfortable living with it. I try as much as possible to encourage them. You get a lot of them come into my DMs, even not only Nigerians. They come into my DM to have conversations with me, to ask me how I'm able to do this. And I'm like, I just have to take my mind off the fact that it's bad. It is not bad. We are just unique in our own ways and all that. So I think I have like few people that are coming to me and just want to talk to me, even when they are down, when they feel like this or that. I keep on telling them that it's not that deep. It's just your skin color. Do you understand? It's not as if when somebody come in contact with you, you're going to contact or something. No, it's not contagious. It's nothing. It's just lack of melanin, basically. So just deal with it and enjoy yourself.
I mean,
So
we're
basically,
seeing
that's
photos of
just it.
you really just enjoying yourself, and it's so beautiful to see because
I
representation matters. When other people who are dealing with vitiligo see you living your best life, just like they see models like Winnie Harlow, who is also
yeah,
living with vitiligo, living her best life. It just encourages and inspires
living my
them,
best.
to do more with
Yeah,
themselves. I'd like to ask you if you still experience the symptoms. I mean, you mentioned that at the start of the vitiligo, you started to itch. Do you still experience those
yeah.
symptoms now, or have they stopped?
Yeah, of recent, about 2 years ago, just once in a while, I still feel this itchy stuff. It just started of recent. That's when I showed you this part of it. My two fingers. This one just started of recent. But the itching wasn't as bad as back in the day when it started. But you don't see me scratch my body. Trust me. You
Oh.
think I'm possessed or something. But now it's just minimal. It's not that deep. I could just rub it a little bit and it stops. So that's just it for now.
And has it, stopped you from getting any opportunities? Has it prevented you from living life the way you would have wanted to?
Yeah, back in the day, and I remember several auditions I've gone for, and when they look at me, they push me aside. Even video directors have done that to me too. There was this particular one I can never forget. But I'm just not going to mention the director's name. So the artist itself said, "Okay, I want this girl." He saw my skin before he said, "I wanted this girl." By the time I went to go and change and I came back, he said, "Okay, they're not doing that part anymore. They're not doing that scene anymore." And I collected my money and I left. When the video came out, they used somebody else for the scene. I'm like, okay.
That's wild.
So I'm not bothered about all that anymore. I'm not. I used to be very bothered. I used to be down. I used to cry. Like, oh, why don't people like me? Why did they reject me so much? But now, if you do not want to work with me because I have vitiligo, sorry, bye. That's on you, not
Anyway,
me.
we love, this energy that you've eventually gotten, with concerning vitiligo. And like I said, it is God's special design on your skin. It makes you different from every other person. It's like being born with, a special tattoo from God, and
Absolutely.
we totally love it. I totally love it.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I absolutely feel so.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Before we let you go, in 30 seconds, what would you say to people who have vitiligo but have not yet come into loving themselves, as well as people who do not have vitiligo? What would you like them to know about vitiligo very quickly?
One thing I have to say to people living with it is live your best life. This life is just too short. Live your best life. Do whatever makes you happy. Do everything that makes you happy. Say, enjoy life. That is one thing with me. People tell me, you go out a lot, you wear this. I'm like, guy, this life no be too. I'm going to enjoy my life to the fullest. And to people who doesn't have vitiligo and have people around them with vitiligo, just try and encourage them. Support them. That's all it is. Just support them. Encourage them.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you very much, Temilola Omoobajesu, for joining us, and sharing your story with us. We wish you all the best. Thank you for being a voice and a form of representation for other young girls and boys who might be living with vitiligo. We wish you all the best from here going forward.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.